Okay, guys, so this season I've been hearing is going to be way, way darker and take us a little bit more into the myths that we're familiar with. So give me a little tease of what we're going to see.
Well, I think that we have deliberately, in a way, gone a little bit darker this year, but I think it's mainly because the series and the characters are maturing, and as the characters mature, the problems and the dilemmas that we give them are intriguing and slightly darker. So there are a lot. The elements are much darker this year, but at the same time there's a complete balance of humour and fun and laughter. So there's a yin to the yang.
You know, I was actually curious how you guys balance that, because you always have a really nice balance of this is a really dark episode and then a silly episode, and someone goes bald and someone turns into something.
I think we consciously try to do that. So there's humour throughout the series, but the themes and the characters are getting older and more complicated, and that always makes things feel darker. And the themes, we're getting closer and closer to the real Arthurian themes, and they're more adult. You know, there are more battles and threats and dangers in the world than we've ever had before.
And it's just like Harry Potter, isn't it? In Harry Potter, as the characters got older, the dilemmas got darker. And so that's what we're going around with. And like Julian said, we're building up now to the beginning of the tale of the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur, and we're moving more closer to that. So there's lots of there's a lot more mythical elements to this series, which is really exciting. It's been really exciting to do.
Well, I was hearing a little something about a dragon episode.
There is a dragon episode.
Yes.
There's a very interesting dragon episode.
Yes.
Which we've never done before.
Yeah.
So that was nice to do.
Yes.
And I guess the relationship between the dragon and Merlin is more emotional and richer in this series than it's ever been.
Yes. Because their relationship to begin with was quite simplistic in that he just gave Merlin advice, and now it's sort of that there's a sort of mutual respect between the two of them, and they both help each other out. And in this particular interesting episode with the dragon, it's that the dragon sort of asks Merlin to do something for him, which puts Merlin in real danger. But it's a really interesting twist and turns episode, and we learn more about the dragon and the potential survival of the dragons.
All right, so Morgana's character is so interesting, and you know, when the series first started, and people who know Arthurian legend looked at her and said, I wonder how we're going to get to the dark side of Morgana. And so that's been a really interesting journey. So can you guys talk a little bit about how that's been navigated through the show?
Well, I think that we always wanted Morgana's turn to the dark sides to be sort of sympathetic in a way, so that she's not, at the beginning she's not an evil person, that actually she's a victim of circumstance, and because she's a victim of circumstance, she takes the wrong route and becomes evil. But hopefully the idea behind it was that the audience should be engaged and realise why she did what she did, rather than it just being sort of a one-dimensional wanting just to be evil for the sake of being evil, but actually there are emotional reasons why she turns and does that.
I think also we understand how in many ways she's been wronged. She reacts to that in a very extreme way, and in a way nobody could condone. But I think you do care about her emotionally, or did in those first two, maybe even into the third series, so that by the time she's really Arthur's mortal enemy in the fourth, you know why. And there's levels to Morgana. She's a very complicated character. You know, her feelings for her sister are very complex. There's, we can say, a new villain who has a relationship of sorts with her in Series 4. That's Agravain, who's Arthur's uncle. So there are many shades to her, and I hope that continues in Series 4. Though what we would say is she's a much more powerful character now. Her magic is fully realised. So she's Merlin's enemy as a magician.
Yeah. And we have kind of, as the character, have huge affection for her. I mean, I really like Morgana, and I still, we still have moments where we're slightly twisted, and you empathise with her in the situation, because, she has been treated badly, and, her real father has lied to her, so that, there's lots of emotional things that have pushed her in the wrong direction. So I think we should still, have empathy for her and care for her. We certainly, she's a great character, and we like, a complex villain emotionally is always far more interesting to storyline.
I totally agree. And, I find everyone really has taken such a journey just in 3 seasons. By the time this video is up, we will have heard the announcement. So, how have you guys sort of approach the whole idea of sort of the overarching storyline, knowing how much time you guys actually have?
We sort of originally planned it as 5 series, and the end of those 5 has always been very clear in our minds. It's very interesting, actually. You rarely do a series where the end is clear in your head, but in this instance it was. And we've more or less stuck to how we plan to pace it, and to take the characters on a journey, Merlin on a journey to maturity, to be the great heroic wizard he becomes, Arthur on a journey to be King Arthur, to have the Round Table and the Knights. And all those journeys were planned in our heads. So it has been curious like that. We've always known pretty much where we were. And that hasn't changed a huge amount. Little things have, but on the whole, we've stuck to it.
We sort of have little kind of mythological marker points for each series, so we sort of roughly know where we're going to begin the legend at the beginning of each season, and where we're going to end.
Yes.
And a rough idea of where each character is going to be in each series, and that's like Gene said, that's always been in our heads over that five seasons.
And knowing we have a 5th series means that it just makes it that much easier to plan and storyline.
Yes.
We have months more time.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how much difference that makes.
Because it's all about the problem, because you always want thinking time to allow your creative ideas to mature, and always in television, the commissions come later, you have to get the scripts done quicker, you have to shoot it quicker, so there's never really time to sort of take stock and let your ideas mature. And the great thing about knowing that we have Series 5 now is that we can really sort of sit and think about it and plan and seed ideas in Series 4 that will come to fruition in Season 5.
Yeah, it's a real luxury to have
Yes.
that commission, that double commission.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen often in the UK, it doesn't happen often here.
Yeah.
So it makes a huge difference to us.
Well, so you are planning on ending it then after the 5th?
Well, we're not going to sit here and say
Please
never.
don't.
No, I mean, Merlin is a very successful program now.
Yeah.
The characters are much loved by everyone, and the end we have in our minds does not have to be the end. So,
Okay, that's good.
I think that's the safest thing to say,
Yeah.
and it really will be up to others, not us, as it always
Yes.
is, as to whether there's anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the viewing figures are still huge and it's still doing well, and we've still got and the momentum that we have now carries on, then there's absolutely no reason why the show can continue. And the format is so robust that we have plenty of ideas for it to continue for as long as it lasts.
I mean, our end is not the end. It's perhaps the best way.
Yes.
That makes me happy because I am one of the American audience members who can't deal with the end of anything. I mean, do you find that differences between British audiences and American
No,
audiences?
I think British audiences,
They don't
when
want
they
things
have
to
an
end either.
affection for a program, just want it to carry on.
Yeah,
And
there's sort of quite a British tradition with some broadcasters that they like to end a series on a high, and because it's so good, we don't want another series, which seems to be quite a British sort of sensibility. Because obviously in America, seasons carry on and on and on and on
Until it's that show.
well,
yeah. I mean, things can things can go on too long.
Yeah,
We all
yeah.
know that,
Yeah.
and we don't feel even remotely close to that with Merlin. We think it's great all the time, but yes, things can go on too long, and there is often a time to stop.
Well, I don't think this can go on too long. I just want to keep going. Thank you, guys.
No
Thank
problem.
you.